Why looking professional matters more than you think. Yeah. So this is kind of like talking about reframing looking professional as a business tool that you need to use, and how do we look more professional, right? So how quickly do you think people form an opinion about a business based on the way that they look?
Instantly.
I think it is.
Yep.
Like, unfortunately.
And it doesn't mean it's a bad one, but you
No.
instantly are going to get a feeling,
An opinion.
right? You get an opinion, you get a feeling as soon as you see somebody drives in, whatever the case may be.
And so, like, we were always taught, like, in grade school, but, like, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Which might be true, right? You might be an awesome business, but the unfortunate side of the way that society works is everybody's looking at covers, and that's how we decide whether or not we're gonna figure out what the book's about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so what are those things that signal professionalism when you look at a company? Like, how can you look professional as a company? What are those things?
Well,
apparel.
I show up and I've got my Got It Made shirt on. You know I'm from Got It Made.
Yeah.
Right? So that's going to make you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
More relaxed.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm expecting these guys.
That's back to, like, even just, like, identifying yourself, right? Like, that's the Amazon worker that showed up when they first started doing home deliveries in their own cars and not wearing a vest or not tagging the cars.
Yep.
Made you feel a little bit like, who's that?
So Amazon cars, so your vehicle, when you pull up into somebody's driveway, there's branding on your vehicle so that they know who you are. You don't show up in a white van.
Yep.
You know?
And then, so that's the cars, right? So having fleet graphics where applicable, that's a good thing to have. Online, your web, social media presence, all that stuff, right? If somebody's got kind of a janky website, I don't know, like we ran into one the other day where the person wants us to do graphics on their vehicle, and they wanted their image of their company on the side of their vehicle, be it a logo or whatever it is. And the best they had were 2 old pictures of other things that they had done, and they were different from each other. So us being the proactive business owners that we are, we decided, well, okay, let's just help them out and let's go to their Facebook and let's see if we can find them there, or check out their website, and we'll see if we can pull down a graphic that's like, okay, just to show them what it's going to be. And then we can try and figure out if they have the right formats or if we need to redraw them. And yeah, we went to their website and, like, we weren't sure we were on the right website. Like,
it was bad.
Is this another place called the same thing in another state, or where is it? Yeah. And, like, the images were just stock images. Like, one of them was of, like, Japanese lanterns.
Yeah, they were stock images, but they were all from different countries. Like, it didn't make any sense. It made 0 sense.
Yeah.
What was happening?
And, like, there was, like, you could tell, like, something happened where they migrated the website, and, like, certain images that were hosted on the old, server just didn't go. So they were just, like, squares with a question mark. And it was bad because it was, like, people's faces. Like, they took all this time to be like, this is so-and-so who does this for the, and then they're a gray box with a question mark. They look like the Riddler,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's a place that, like, we don't mind working with people like that, because we see, like, we can help them make them better. It's not about a money-making opportunity for us. It's just like this is some way that we can contribute and make something better. And that's kind of like where we light up, is like, can we help another business and then see that business take off or just be better, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. So the one thing I think a lot of people are afraid of, and I've talked to business owners about this before too, if they look too organized, right, and they have all of their branding all nice and neat across all these different facets, and they've done the vehicle wraps and the nice website that flows really well and is working well for them, they're afraid that their clients, their existing clientele, are going to think they're, like, too fancy, right? Fancy. Yeah. And they're afraid that they're going to, be judged like, that company's, like, too expensive, right? Like, they're just too fancy. I can't afford that, right? And so that forces them to stagnate. They kind of plateau, right? I don't think it's really that big of a problem to look like you've got it put together.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
like, and maybe you are a little bit more expensive than some of the competition in your market, but at
There's a
least
reason.
like, and I feel like if you're put together enough where your messaging is clear, like if say they go to your website to like research you, if your messaging and your branding is on point and it's clear right there, they're going to get your why buys out of that list, right? And that should reinforce the feeling that your brand is giving somebody as like reassuring them that you're the right place to do business.
Or let's go back to the beginning of the process. Like they're in the beginning stages, say they're not a current customer, they're just a customer and they're shopping and they go to your website and it's easy, it flows, it says what you do, it says who you are.
Yeah.
Like it's not even they're not going, oh, they're too fancy. They're going, wow, they really got it going on. Like I want to work with it. How do I work with this company?
Yep.
Right. And then when they book you and then you show up and you have the same consistency in your apparel or your uniform, your car, whatever it is, like all those things are just like, it doesn't have to be a fancy perception. This is a great company to work with. Yeah. They are really doing good things.
And to like look at that like reflexively too, like if somebody decides not to do business with you because of your put togetherness, right? Like, are you really losing? Because like, what is that customer? That is the customer that doesn't care if it's done right, wants it done just the cheapest, and just doesn't care about that end result. So like, that's not a thing that you can even like post about on your social media when you get done with it, because you're not even proud of like finishing the project because you had to cut so many corners to do the things that brought the price point down, right? I've done it before where I said yes to a job and I don't cut the corners, right? And now, like secretly in the back of my mind, I am mad that I have to go through all this extra work for not enough on the back end, right? Like I feel like I've slighted myself. It's not the customer's fault.
No,
it's my fault. Like I
you
said yes.
You have to know your worth.
Yeah.
You have to be confident in what you do. And I mean, there's a reason you charge what you charge, and and also getting a no is not a failure. Getting a no or saying no is not it can still be a win because you came to the realization that that's not the right clientele. Like it doesn't work for you and it doesn't work for them. Like you're not a match. It doesn't work.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but like by saying no to that one thing that was probably going to drag you down, you opened yourself up and you traded the one thing that you can't buy back, right? Like you got your time, right? And now that time can be invested into the right thing versus having the wrong things taking you off track.
Absolutely.
Right? That's that clarity in the brand, right? That focuses you back in, you know?
So sometimes your biggest wins can come from initial no's.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard to say no.
Yeah. It is. But totally like hard. We know
weird.
That's something we're focused. It does feel weird, but that's something we're focusing on because we realize that those no's bring us better yeses.
And even if it's a no because it's not exactly the thing that you do, right? What that does is you've still established contact with that customer, right? And now they know what you do. And then moving forward, you're kind of telling them like when you have a project that's more aligned with you, you're ready to take it on. And they might think of that as a positive interaction no matter what too, because now all of a sudden they had that professional experience top to bottom. And now, even if it's not them, like that's needing the service, they might tell somebody.
Think of how you handle it
and be like, yeah, you know what? I couldn't use them because they didn't really do what I wanted to do. But if you're looking at getting that done, that's what they said they did. And that would be awesome if you worked with these guys. Because
it goes back to our last episode with the chaos versus clarity.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're in that situation where you probably shouldn't be saying yes, causes chaos.
Bring it in.
Right. And then when you get a win and you know you should be saying yes, there's the clarity.
Yeah.
Like this is the way I need to go.
Yeah. You feel it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So, so why do some customers end up trusting businesses faster than others? Like, what are some of the things that
the professionalism, the consistency,
what about like their interactions, like verbally with them, right? Like I know right away, like phone is a weird one, right? So phone, I can't see your face, right? I don't know who you are, how you act, where you're from, whatever, right? But if somebody calls me and they're professional on the phone and they're organized and they have their ideas put together and they know what they want, like I'm like, let's do it. Like, I
Or
get good
like
responses
you always
that way.
say
Yeah.
this. I mean, I'm a pretty happy person anyways, but like
Mhm.
smile through the phone.
Oh
Like
yeah.
someone can feel your energy, even though you're talking on a phone, they
Yeah.
can feel your energy, whether it's positive or negative, they can feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a job one time where I just sold hot tubs and patio furniture. And that was a strange job to have year round because like it ebbed and flowed, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes it was really, really frustrating. And I had a manager, who's one of the owners. One of the best bits of advice that he gave me in answering the phone was smile before you pick up the phone, right? Before you, but back then he picked up phones.
Now
He
we
answered
just,
them. So like I found myself even like even when I was in like auto sales, I would do that. Like you might have just had like the world's
worst
toughest
conversation before
customer.
that.
Or
Or
you might
yeah.
have just gotten yelled at about something that just happened, and you're like, oh man. Yeah. And then guess what? Phone rings. That person doesn't care that that just
Well, it's
happened to
also not
you.
their fault,
Yeah, it's not their
right?
fault. Don't take it
Mhm.
out on them, right? So I had to just sit there and like I remember like counting to 3 and then just smiling and then picking up the phone. And it was like a reframing of my mental state so that I could just like give up whatever emotions I had at the time and go into it. And like we've all had that conversation with somebody. Like we had one just the other day. It was worse than a phone, right? It was a internet chat for something that we needed to have resolved with one of our suppliers, and something wasn't being fulfilled right, right?
Yeah.
And the responses that we got, with the tone of it was like, "Why are you bothering me?" You know, like
Yeah.
they were just like, "We're
This isn't
working
my
on it."
problem. This is
Yeah,
your problem.
yeah, and like it was a shipping issue, right? So a package got lost, or who knows? It wasn't even lost. They knew where it was. It just got separated from the rest of the pack
Mhm.
somehow. How something gets shipped from one place and then they deviate, and I mean, it was something that started in like New York and went down to Tennessee and then went up into
It
Wisconsin
like
to
made
come
its way
back to
around the whole
Michigan.
United States to
So
get
it
where
took
it
like an
needed to
extra
go.
3 days for the other part of the package to arrive. And the bad part was the company that we were interacting with didn't have the information. They couldn't tell us where the package was or what happened to it. So immediately, as us being like the customer wondering what's going on, we don't get warm fuzzies because they don't have an answer, right? So
Kind of lost the level of trust went down a little bit,
that was their
right?
chaos in their brand,
Yep.
right? So
Right.
because they didn't have a system in place to tell me right then and there on the spot, like this is what happened and everything's gonna be fine. They told me they'd get back to me within an hour, and then they didn't get back to us within an hour, and we get busy doing stuff, and then it's the next day, and it's like I need that thing, and I still don't have my answer. So then we reach back out to them, we're like, "Hey, what's going on?" We got a different representative that was just like, "Yeah, so and so is working on it for you," and we're like, "Okay, can we talk to so and so then? Like, what's the deal? You know, like what happened?" So they just kept passing it around, like, "Why are you bothering me?" We just didn't feel good. So what's really crazy about that is what did that make me do in that same day? Like we sat down for like an hour, right? And we scoured the internet for
A
a new
different supplier.
supplier.
Mhm.
And
One
you know,
conversation.
yeah.
One conversation. Well,
And it's a
technically two,
place
but
that we've done business with for like the last 4 years. And it's not our first problem there, right? Like maybe we had one or two others. It tends to rely around shipping, but that's those that's those feedback loops that business should be paying attention to. So if they
Mhm.
have a great website, an easy ordering process, good product when it's fulfilled, but when it gets shipped, the wheels fall off, and that's why your
That's a
customer
problem.
service agents are getting like
Yeah.
outed. And I feel like maybe that guy probably that was like his sixth time that day that somebody was complaining that a package was lost or something.
Right.
So if there isn't that feedback loop to like let customer service express like, hey, like we had like 28 calls today and it was all about packages being lost. Like what's going on in the shipping department? Why are we packaging things in separate packages under one tracking number is what happened around, which I don't even know how you do that.
Yeah.
That's beyond me. I don't ship enough stuff, I guess. So
Well, and I think it kind of goes back to like that's the kind of the world we live in, unfortunately. It might only
no.
take one bad thing. You could have done 50 things right every other time, and that
It
one bad thing they're going to focus on.
burns the bridge.
But it's all about how you handle it. Like I probably wouldn't have been so upset if I would have gotten just a better form of communication or a better feeling of they're taking my problem serious, like they're going to take care of me. But I didn't get that. I got the, oh, whatever, you're just the next one. Let me
Yeah.
sweep you under the rug. So like if things don't go exactly how you plan, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose that customer. It's all about how you handle it. And a lot of times it's just literal communication, like checking in. Hey, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm still working on it.
Mhm.
Like this is where we're at. I promise I'll get you an update as soon as I have one. Like that eases people's mind. Like they're not upset anymore then, right? You've
Mhm.
taken it back down from almost imploding to, oh, it's manageable again. So it's literally about how you handle the situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah. It's just that communication for sure.
100%.
So one of the things that we found in particular with that business is when we started looking around at its competition for providing the same service to us and the same product that we needed, they were more expensive, right? But at that moment, how important was price to me? Because my reputation was on the line. Because if I can't fulfill to a customer on time the way that I told them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That business is making me into a liar, right? Because I don't have the raw materials to produce what they need. Now all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy to my customer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know,
So it goes back to it's okay to have everything in order and look fancy
yeah,
because you're worth that. If
yeah,
you're taking care of your customer and you're doing it
yeah.
right, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like to
And it's
be
okay to charge more if you're giving more,
right.
right? So
Right.
we've seen that in the rap world before, where somebody reaches out to us and they get a quote on something, and sometimes it's not even really specific because we don't have a design yet, right? So that's something that is a hard thing for some people to figure out. They're like, how much to wrap this box truck, or how much to wrap this, you know,
Transmit.
pickup, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes we have to give them kind of a range, and I would be like, I would be a little bit more apprehensive of a wrap shop that just tells you like this is how much it's going to be. And I would also like, I know that there's places out there that just start throwing designs at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. You have a lawn care business. Here's 3 lawn care businesses that we've done before, and we can do something like that for you. And I'll work on something for you if you send me your logo. And it's like you didn't have the conversation with the person about like what they wanted. And you also kind of told me in the same stroke that like you've done all the other lawn care businesses around me and I can make you look just like them, which that's not my point. I don't want to look just like them. I want to stand out, right? It's a good book on that too. There's a guy, Seth Godin. He wrote a book called Purple Cows. I think it's just Purple Cow. And it talks about like how if there's a herd of cows in the field as you're driving by and one of them's purple, like you probably remember
That's the one you
purple cow.
recognize.
Yeah. So, and we talked about that in previous episodes too, with like heating and cooling companies using red, white, and blue all the time because blue is cold and red is heat, you know. Um,
People already know that. You don't have to show
yeah.
cold, blue, red, hot. Like
Yeah.
they already know that those things are.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like I have a hard time even with our own pricing sometimes because I look at it as like I need to charge a little bit more because it's going to be a unique design. I'm not going to use clip art off the internet. We've seen that before too. I've seen food trucks that use the same design, and I don't know if maybe they're cousins or something and they're cool with it, but I've seen them before and I'm like, where's that? Or we go to food truck rallies. There's one in Frankenmuth all the time. And like when you're in this business, you can't like unsee certain stuff, or like I can't go to a museum with the kids or an art gallery without going like, oh yeah, it looks like they use 3mm ACM for their signage. And, so I look at these food trucks and I see like who's wrapping them, where are they from, who did them? Maybe it's somebody that we know, right? And there's sometimes that I'll use Google Lens and I'll see a texture and I'll use Google Lens and I'll take a quick shot of it. And the food truck people are probably like, why is the guy creeping around my truck taking pictures of the back of my truck?
Weirdo.
But I'll look at it and I'll be like, where did they get that image from? Did they snipe that off the internet? And one of the problems with doing that is you don't own your brand at that point.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you used a piece of imagery that somebody else can buy, you know, and it's okay sometimes, right? Like I've got one behind me right now, like this crazy scatterbrained like conglomeration. Like there's a cool design studio in New Zealand that really does a lot with textures and the rap world. And like, could I draw this? Yeah. Like there's not that much going on there. I could draw it with Adobe Fresco or tune it up with Illustrator, and you know, he provides it with nice clean vectors. But like it's $50 to buy that design. Like for my time, like I like it. So it's almost like I supported another artist or another studio by like buying it, right? and I have the rights to use the image. That's another really important thing. You can't just take an image off the internet and start using it without paying
Permission.
the artist, right? So we paid for this and we get to use it. And I think it's cool because it's representative of wrap shops. And
Well, and it's a wall in our shop. It's not
Yeah.
it's not our mobile business like a food truck. Like
Yeah.
that's their brand.
Right.
That's how people see them,
but
right?
where I'm going with that though is like this texture could be used by another wrap shop. In fact,
Sure.
I know it is. And in my mind, me being like, I need to make something one off and creative and whatever all the time, I kind of got into like a loop with myself where I was like, I need to just make this. But then I was like, I don't want to take all that time to make it when I could be working on other projects for clients. And this is what it is. So like we use this, like this is the background of the YouTube page. I'll use it on Facebook. And I like the way that it looks with our logo on top of it. It's got good contrast for the most part, right? And some of it blends in a little bit on here because of our lighting and that, but I think it's a cool logo and it works. So, but it's another thing too. Like, can I use another design studio to look more professional, right? So yeah, that's something that I've done. It works, so fall back on others. So basically like what, being professional doesn't mean you're going to be always expensive, right? Being professional doesn't make you too corporate, right? So
Right.
some small business owners are worried about being too corporate, and professional is not boring, right?
No.
So professional is giving confidence, security,
Consistency.
consistency. Yeah. Those
And again, all those things also tie into the last episode where it starts from the top.
Yeah.
And if the top is professional, it's going to trickle down into the rest of your business, and then you're cohesive, and it's just going to be really good for your business.
Yeah. So don't resist it, basically.
No.
Yeah. If you can do something to make yourself look more approachable and easier to work with, a cleaner company, definitely do it. So like those things that we would be talking about doing, like take a look at your vehicles, what's your fleet look like if you're out there on the road. Something new that got brought to our attention is watch gas stations. It's pretty funny. So you'll see a lot of service-based businesses rolling through gas stations. And so now like in the morning when we drop off the kids, I am looking at who's filling up. And like yesterday, I saw 2 white vans and I was like, I think I need to hang out at 7-Eleven or something, right? So, and your signage inside and out of your business too. So what is the outside of the building look like? And when customers enter the building, does it feel the same way as the outside of the building? Does it feel chaotic? Are you putting off those chaotic vibes? And then people are like, I don't know about this place. It's kind of shaky, right? What's your website look like? What's your social media presence look like? Does that look unified? And those are easy. Those are free. Like social media, like how much does it cost you to change your Facebook logo or whatever icon? It's $0. Just do it. It takes you 15 seconds, do it right. And then like sales materials too. Like we've got brochures and stuff that we have in our branding office in that space. And like they're easy ones to hand out and they say all the things that we can do and they're branded for us and, make sure that stuff feels the same.
Business cards, all that stuff. If your team's handing stuff out, you want the business card they hand out to look the same as the graphics on your vehicle that they pulled up in, the same as what's on their shirt, like you want it all to make sense together.
And professionalism doesn't have to feel like overpowering too. It can be subtle enough that it's just normal, right? That's how it should feel probably.
Yeah,
it should
doesn't have to be over the top.
You don't want to make yourself unapproachable.
No.
No. So certain luxury brands do that. Like Louis Vuitton or something like that, right? Their storefronts make it feel unapproachable, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't feel comfortable walking in.
I feel like I have to be really rich to go into that store.
Right. But guess what? If you are really rich and you walk into that store, it makes you feel like you're part of a club.
Well,
right?
and that's their market. That's who that's who they're trying to have as a client. So okay.
So they've weeded us out.
I don't need to spend that much money on a purse anyway, so I'm good.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. So then once everything kind of aligns, right? Like how does that feel then, right?
Great.
Feels good on the inside, feels great on the outside. Your
And again,
customers
if you
it.
feel good, your salespeople feel good, the customers are going to feel good.
Yeah.
It's going to be, everyone's going to have that great attitude and, be happy and know what they need to do and, have the tools to provide that service to your customer.
Yeah. So then I think the next thing that we want to talk about in this series is just going to be like the role of vehicles and signage and just physical branding and growth. And I think it'll be good because you'll be able to tie in a lot of different industries. You don't have to be just a home service industry or a retail shop or anything like that, right? It's going to apply to everybody. Just like how do we connect all the visuals of a business and a brand to project that feeling that you're going for? And then how does that feed your growth after that? So, looking forward to discussing the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching.